Hey guys, my name is Max, and in this video I'm going to show you how to install OpenNeutron onto your server. Well, OpenNeutron, it is my open source project. It's an open source self-hostable alternative to the Proton mail. As we know, the thing of the Proton mail is why it's so popular is that nothing is stored unencrypted on the server. Everything is just decrypted upon hitting the client, and all the keys, all the private keys to decrypt the data are derived from your password on the client. This is a whole new, well, email stack, which I decided to rewrite from scratch on my own, adding a few nice things. Well, as mentioned, it is a zero knowledge server, so an email is fully encrypted on the server, and even fully compromising the server's disk, well, won't harvest any data. And I also decided to build a specific protocol on top of the currently existing email stack, which allows, if both nodes, sender and receiver, are, well, OpenNeutron SMTP servers, they know each other, well, they see that they are both OpenNeutron compatible nodes during the handshake, and the email and the message gets encrypted on the client. So it's a full end-to-end encryption, and in no time does a server, any server, sender or receiver, know what's in this message. And it's only encrypted by the sender client and decrypted by the receiver client. Nothing more. So this is pretty cool. You can read about it here on the OpenNeutron.com website. You can go to the protocol specs to, well, see how the protocol works, or to the storage, and it describes how keys are derived. It works basically the same way as Proton mail, but it's, well, verifiable, it's local, and it's self-hostable. It's written in Rust, so it's memory safe, and yeah, this is pretty cool. But we are interested in installing it and in setting it up, which is very straightforward. And yeah, we can go here to GitHub if you wanna, and you can open it and read about a bit more about it, about the protocol, how exactly it works, what code snippets look like, etc. So yeah, it describes pretty well here. But we're not interested in that currently. We're just interested in installing it and running it. So yeah, git clone, that's what we do normally. And yeah, as you can see, the project is pretty small. You can see oops. And first things first, we're gonna start at looking at the config. The config is very straightforward. Well, the server has the domain. It is very important. If you are hosting a real email server, you gotta get a domain, obviously, right? For the, well, MX record. And here in this domain, you'd actually have to specify what is in your MX DNS record, because this will be used later to sign the outgoing messages, because there is a DKIM in place, well, to be compatible with larger email providers, because I tested it with Google in the Outlook and it works perfectly. Yeah, so it's very important. Without it, you won't be able to, either you won't be able to send messages. I mean, you will be, but they're not gonna land anywhere, or in the best case, they're gonna land in some spam or trash or I don't know what. So you better get this correct. The email port is 25. I tested it on 25 on the port 25. Now it's set to 25. There's a lot of SMTP ports. Well, I just left it this way because yeah, you can change it. Again, there are a lot of them. Just select what ports fits you the best for whatever reason. This is very straightforward. The API port, well, the port the web interface is going to be running on. Yeah. Also, no further explanation needed. Storage, also users.bin and data/blobs. Well, all emails incoming are stored as flat binary blob files. So again, no database, no dependencies, nothing. I didn't want it to make it dependent on some technology. I really wanted to keep it as simple as possible, and since I don't think any single node will be high loaded enough to, well, make the IO obsolete and to need some other storage method other than system's native IO, I don't think that's gonna be needed. So this is more than enough, at least for now. Later we're maybe gonna change it, but I can, again, now it's more than enough. And yeah, by the way, dependencies, it was written on Linux for Linux, so I haven't tested on Windows, but it has to be cross-platform. It does not rely on any, well, Linux libraries, aka OpenSSL or whatever similar libraries. We don't need them. It really generates a self-containing, self-sustaining binary, which is pretty cool, which runs pretty fast, but we'll come to that a bit later. So yeah, TLS, it's a must for, well, any decent SMTP server where you want to send emails from, right? So in this case, it's self-signed. Interestingly enough, self-signed TLS certificates work just fine with Google and Outlook. But if you're building really something professional with it, you should really go with something professional. You should really purchase a certificate or buy a generate a Let's Encrypt TLS certificate, whatever fits you the best. It's up to you, but in my case, self-signed works just fine. So you just leave it at true and leave the certificate at the key path as it is. It's not the server going to be ignored if it's self-signed true. Rather than the DKIM. The DKIM is the domain email verification based on the DNS record with a public key set to a DNS record, right? So the emails are being encrypted with this public key partially, or actually fully, I believe, right? So this is a bit confusing, this one at least, because the enable is true, meaning even the DKIM non-signed emails are gonna go through. That's not gonna be a problem. But if you set enabled to false, that means only the DKIM signed, it has the DKIM signature enforcement in place, and it's gonna be really hardly enforced. So only the checked signed emails are gonna slip through, but many servers, for some reason, I mean, at least amateur servers don't have this. So I left it at true. I have no problem with receiving the DKIM unsigned emails. Then logging, straightforward as well. Trace, if the log level is set at trace, we can even see how TLS handshake is done. In most cases, info is gonna suffice because you're not gonna be constantly looking at the logging, will you? So, but yeah, in our case, I just left it at trace by default for debugging, for the purpose of debugging, and yeah. And the last but not least, the JWT token. Obviously, there is a web interface which is using the JWT token, and we can place our own secret here for whatever reason, or we can, well, in this case, it's just commented out. It's just automatically a new secret is generated on every run. Basically, all devices after a rerun, after a restart, or all devices are locked out automatically. I would actually prefer that, but in case you want your JWT constant token and you don't want to be constantly locked out for whatever reason, but you're restarting the server, I don't know, it's just, I left it here if you need to, right? So nothing complex here, nothing complex whatsoever. So we can run it. We can just type in car.build. Let's first of all build it, so you can see then how fast it actually boots up. And yeah, Rust takes some time to build, we all know that for sure, but it will start pretty fast, and there aren't that many dependencies actually. Again, no systems dynamically linked dependencies here. Yeah, so it built 20 seconds, pretty fast for us. I've seen longer builds. And when we just type in cargo run, this is pretty simple, and as you can see, it's up, it's basically instant. Yeah, we see two warnings here. First, that no JWT secret was defined as mentioned, we're just ignoring it, and that no user storage was created, that new user storage was created, that no user storage was found. So you can see here in data, this is one of the most important folders here, basically where everything is stored. We see users.bin. The users file is a flat binary file, and yeah, I gotta this one I have to tell you as well. The emails and the email data is stored here in blob, so the users.bin is just the users database, which is not going to be accessed pretty often, so it's safe to just store it in a binary blob. I don't see any problem with that. Again, I'm not counting on high load on this one. So Yes, you can see server listening on for 8080 and this SMTP server listening on 2525, right? We can load the page now and we see the login page. So we have to log in, and this is where the interesting part comes. We couldn't have generated any keys now because we just started the server, and the client, we didn't, well, touch it with the client. So again, for all the keys and for the encryption, decryption, and cryptography, well, everything's done on the client. So we just log in with admin. This is a default username, and the password is, no, not admin, the password is whatever. You can type whatever you want here, 123, I will, whatever. And yeah, here we see, since the account wasn't initialized yet, we see the setup account here, and we have to type in our new password. Again, it's going to be pretty simple for me, 123, 123. The strong passwords aren't enforced yet, but maybe I'll add it a bit later. So just click the generate keys, and yeah, here we go. A very important thing as well, if you are hosting it, I would really recommend you installing a reverse proxy, an Nginx reverse proxy, because on some modern browsers, aka in Firefox, the cryptography API, the default real accelerated cryptography API, isn't available. Or if the website isn't HTTPS secured for whatever reason, but it's just sometimes enforced, sometimes isn't. I obviously added a fallback, right, to generate basically manually in the browser using a function to derive all the keys, and it works, but it works a bit slower, actually quite slower than the usual native support, obviously. But again, I'm just recommending it, also for the sake of the security, obviously. So yeah, here we can see a minimal, well, I gotta admit, Proton Mail inspired interface, which just kind of works. It's pretty simple. There's nothing unusual here. We can create groups. Let's create a group. So work, just work email, right? We can also rename it and delete it. Again, some simple crypt functionality. We can start some emails. We can draft. Let's write a message here to, let's say, admin@OpenNeutron.com, and the subject is this is email. Oops. And hello there. Sorry, hello there. Something simple like this. And yeah, we just hit send. And as you can see, the data is here being sent, and we can see that was the handshake done, and yeah, this is basically our outgoing server. So we see that it's in the sent email, and we see the log here. Basically, the email was end-to-end encrypted, and I got it. All the log marked emails are end-to-end encrypted. Again, about the end-to-end encryption, you can read here, E2EE protocol spec. I developed my own protocol, as mentioned, on top of the SMTP, where at no time does a decrypted message touch any of the servers. Never ever. If the log is here, it means the email was delivered safely. No one has read it. I mean, there was no technical possibility of doing that. So yeah, this is it. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you're gonna like this project. The links I'm gonna leave in the description. I gotta warn you, the project is in alpha stage development, so it could contain some bugs, but oh yeah, as you can see, we just turned off the server and the connection just disappeared, right? We can't do anything here. Some things were cached, some not. The server's not accessible. We can restore it, try, and yeah, we're being locked out because the token was invalidated. Oh, we can even type in admin 3, and we are just inside here. Oh, yeah, it was fetched pretty fast and decrypted. So, although it takes a bit of time, as mentioned. So yeah, again, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys are gonna like this project. I hope you're gonna use it, and I really need some feedback. I really need help on this one, because this is my first Rust project, my first serious Rust project. I just learned this language and this is also my first open source project ever. So again, thanks for your support and advice. Please leave a comment, like this video, and I hope to see you sometimes on my streams. Goodbye.